every year around this time, people ask how I make my pie crust. It turns out really well, pretty much all the time, and it's a pretty simple recipe. So for all of those of you who have asked, this is how I do my pie crust. It's based on a Betty Crocker recipe, and it calls for shortening, but I use butter instead because I think shortening is kind of gross. Okay, so you're going to need a cup of flour, half a teaspoon of salt. I use kosher salt. I think it blends better, tastes better. Third a cup of butter, softened, so I just leave mine out. You can melt it in the microwave. Try to not to melt it all the way. And then cold water. So pretty simple. You're going to mix the flour with the salt, stir that up. Then you're going to take your butter, and the recipe said to chop it in. I just use a fork. If you have like a pastry thing, I don't even know what they're called, you can use that, but a fork works just as well. You're supposed to keep cutting it like this until you get a crumbly mixture. So basically what that means is, see how you've got some loose flour in here right now and you've got some chunks of butter? What you want is more of a uniform consistency. So you'll notice I'm squishing right up against the sides of the bowl, and then I mix it around and I keep squishing and just keep pulling those chunks down. Eventually you'll get a pretty uniform mixture here, and you'll notice that as you squish, it'll start to hold the form. See how I'm making those imprints and they're sticking? That means you have a good mix going on. So once you've got it to this state, you want to add your water. Only add a little bit at a time, like that, and then just stir it up. And then when the water's absorbed, add a little more. And the reason you want to add just a little bit at a time is because it gets really hard if you put too much in. You can just add flour to offset that, but it's a lot easier if you just go slowly, add a little bit of water at a time. So see, it's starting to stick in clumps, and you want it to the point where it will just make a ball. You don't want it to be really super sticky and slimy. You just want it to clump up. Grab your dough. It's a little wet, a little sticky, so you're going to dust your board, dust your rolling pin. I like to kind of pat mine in flour, just rolling it around, and then squishing it, patting it down with my hand a little bit. Just keep on rolling it out to the shape that you need. And sometimes it tears. That's also not the end of the world. Just piece it back together. Like I have a little tear right here. I'm just going to push it. There we go. And just keep on rolling. So when you're ready to transfer it to your pie plate, you very carefully go under the edges and carefully fold it right now. You've got it folded into quarters. Makes it a little bit stronger so you can pick it up, put the point in the middle, and then unfold it. You just want to move slowly. Okay, so this little portion right here that's torn, you can probably see it better on that side, right? All you got to do is fold it over, pat it down a little bit. You can add water to that to help it stick. Trim it like so. Now go bake a pie and impress all your friends and family.